What's up, boxing fans? Thanks for pressing play on another Bite Down Boxing video. I'm the host of the Bite Down Boxing podcast, the editor-in-chief over at BiteDownBoxing.com, Wood. Just checking in real quick. Salute to my Pistons, man, for making the playoffs and getting ready to grab this bull by the horns with the winners of the East, the number one seed in the East, the Milwaukee Bucks. We'll see what happens there. I was gonna go in on that. I started to do that for my afternoon Wood check-in, but I don't even have any confidence in the Pistons. Even if Brogdon is still injured for the Bucks, but I'll go in later, on the situation as far as tanking versus struggling to make the playoffs and how it relates to the Pistons. I've already talked on this before, but we'll get into that later as a pay me no mind video. Just boxing wise, and this is really in response to nobody. This isn't a response to anybody or any statements and whatnot. It's just looking at this weekend. We have the schedule is chock full. You have tomorrow night. Actually, we have not IBF, but we have Lomachenko going up against defending his title against a mandatory in the UK's Anthony Crolla, and also Gilberto Ramirez, I guess, Zerto, is also on that card, which very quiet situation for him, because I believe this is his debut at light heavyweight. There's a couple other names on there. Besputin, is a welterweight that Bob Arum is toying around with. Was kind of coming down between Besputin and Kavaliauskas or Mean Machine to see who might be, somebody to face Bud Crawford in the future, as to defend his WBO welterweight title. And that apple cart was upset a couple of weeks ago with Mean Machine fighting to a draw with Robinson. I haven't watched that fight yet, but I'm gonna go back and check it out. I've just been consistent over the last 8 months saying that Mean Machine was not, and he wasn't a player in the situation. But anyway, it's some criticism or some outcry or backlash out there for this fight being on a Friday night, in the middle of early mid-April. And I scrolled through some of these videos, man, and some of the creators out there. Shout out to everybody doing it. Sometimes it would be nice to find some people that are excited about boxing, are happy to follow boxing, getting some joy out of boxing. And it's not always there, but we're gonna do that on we're gonna provide you some joy and some passion and some love with boxing, man. This fight was scheduled, I believe, within 2 weeks after Lomachenko defeated Jose Pedraza. I believe this was the date that was always being circled as the next appearance for Lomachenko. With that in mind, yes, it's a Friday night, but if you keep it in mind, the NFL, once college football wraps up at the end of the year, the NFL moves some games over to Saturday to provide football fans with the more opportunity to see football. It makes sense, right? So I believe this was a date that they always circled, but the thinking was they were going to get the winner of the vacant IBF title, lightweight title, which was Richard Comey and Isa Chaniev. And that a wrench was thrown in that situation because Comey came out of that fight, even though I believe it was only 2 rounds, he came out of that fight with an injured hand. So there was no sense in, they couldn't move forward with the unification fight. And then with the fight being on ESPN Plus, I just believe that, ESPN Plus is still fighting for, subscribers, new subscribers, and trying to push that platform. So I don't know how we really knock Top Rank here for what it's become, with Crolla being in there and being the opponent that not many of us really want to see, especially with the Jordan or David Jordan guy. Excuse me on my pronunciation with that one, but he had a pretty good outing against Crolla, but he didn't really have a game B, or a plan B or a plan C that he could really execute to really give him a chance to win that fight. But he did better than expected and did good enough that I have no confidence, I have zero confidence in Crolla really being able to pull this off, other than with the exception of him being a desperate fighter, because this could be his last hurrah, at a title. So sometimes we can't out-slick the people. I say this all the time. We can't out-slick the people who have been feeding their families in the boxing game for decades. Like, everything that they do is not an accident, a mistake, a gaffe, a slip-up. Some of this stuff is just the nature of boxing, and they roll with it. So, again, it's Friday night, and as fate would have it, because the weekend's biggest situation or biggest event is obviously Claressa Shields versus Christina Hammer. But now we don't have to make a decision between those two. This fight was rescheduled from originally it was supposed to go down November 17th. That didn't happen because of the undisclosed illness with Hammer. So they came back trying to fit this on the calendar somewhere. They put it in, here on the for April 13th. Cool. One thing that I would question is, why wasn't the P? This is how it was kind of a mistake for everybody, or misfortune for everybody. Why wasn't the PBC being a little better of a business partner to Showtime than to put on a PBC on Fox card at the same time as a women's bout, as the biggest women's bout? Why even split those views up? Because we're gonna have some of the purists out there who don't buy into the women's game, who are going to go over and just because they don't feel the two minute time limits for the rounds, the card's not really that deep, with just Jermaine Franklin and Otto Wallen being on there. The Jaron Ennis fight never materialized. So we're gonna have some individuals who go over there and check out the PBC product. And again, with a little bit of optimism, a little bit of patience, and some understanding, there's options for you. For whatever type of boxing fan you are, whatever level that you're checking in and keeping up with this thing, there's options for you. And it's not hurting you in any way, because we have all of these fights out there. Now, last point. Also Saturday night is the DAZN card, which has Jaime Munguia against Hogan. I think it's Chris Hogan. How do we take any shots at Eddie Hearn or Matchroom Boxing USA for the silence or the lack of heavy-duty promotion on the Crolla fight with Lomachenko? That's Top Rank's situation. I believe Top Rank overpaid for this so that Lomachenko didn't have to go face Crolla over in the UK. So how much, if they overpaid for the fight, how much money are we really gonna go out here and invest in pumping up this fight that we really didn't want? We eat what we lost in it and we move on. So but then Saturday night, like I said, with Jaime Munguia being one of the busiest top level guys or world class level guys, or even a title holder, being one of the busiest guys out there, how do we hang that criticism on Eddie Hearn? That's Golden Boy situation. So sometimes I just see some of the shots being fired, some of the hatred being spewed, and I'm not so certain that the target is always the right target. But anyway, again, man, the way to approach this, I'm gonna probably rock with Claressa Shields all night and the Showtime crew. I can go back and catch the PBC action on a replay on either Fox Sports Go, on that streaming app, or just catch it later in the week on FS1. The prelims over there's a couple names on there. I mean, Joey Spencer is back in action. Sean Simpson, I believe, is a lower weight kid out of Chicago. I think that's who that is. I don't know if he makes it to the telecast, but Money Powell was on there. Short turnaround for him. So there's some names on there to keep in touch with that one and keep an eye on that one. But like I said, I'll probably go back Truex and Quillin up at the top in the main event, and then Sergey Derevianchenko and Kolke. Decent action. But like I said, I'll probably check that one out on the replay. The Zone, I'll probably watch that Sunday. I'll probably chop up that card. You can watch those fights separate on demand. I can't really, no name really jumps out to me on the undercard there. I mean, maybe Diego De La Hoya might have been on there or something. Nobody really jumped off for me on there. But obviously, we want to keep an eye on Munguia because he could be an eventual opponent for some kind of unification before he goes up to middleweight. So I'll probably check that action out early Sunday. And then, of course, Friday night, I can... it's a situation at the house that makes Friday night an advantageous night for me to tune in and watch boxing kind of uninterrupted by my other half, my better half. So I'm good with that. And then, we'll see what... we'll see. We get a chance to see where Lomachenko is. Like, is it really a trend? Is he really on a trend that he's in decline, or was the Pedraza fight just a matter of him coming back from a significant injury against a guy who's been operating on a world-class level, and he just didn't look great that night? But he still he still accepted and showed up against a significant challenge, took his lumps, and won. And that's what champions do. So, but now we need to see, do we see some signs of the old movement, the old quickness, pre-Pedraza? Does any of that return? Obviously, we want some action out there from Lomachenko moving forward, whether it's Mikey Garcia, I don't know how that one gets made, or whether it's Tank Davis, I don't know how that one gets made. But I definitely want to see how the guy is looking physically, and what we could at least look forward to. So that's kind of where I am with this weekend. Some good action. We could see something great happen. Quillin and Truex could turn into something. Obviously the ladies, all eyes, on the ladies first. So again, just trying to be optimistic and joyful and happy. Man, we watch some of these channels and it's all doom and gloom and hate and fighting and all of that stuff, man. It's a good weekend, man. It's a good weekend. Nobody is really digging in their pockets, for $75, $80 to get a partial product or something. So it's not the end of the world. I will speak on the Mikey Garcia situation with some talks out there about him resurfacing and being showing some signs of damage, but I'm not even gonna go there right now on that. Do what you want to do with that and make the inferences that you want to make. Please continue to subscribe to the channel. Holler at me. I do respond back to pretty much everything. And like I said, I wanted to do my weekly or my daily lunch check-ins or my commute to work in the morning. But of course, YouTube had to come in and dash a brother's hopes as far as requiring you to have 1,000 subscribers to do the mobile live stream. So that kind of kills the whole motivation in checking in right now, because this would be an opportunity to link up with some of the brothers that fall through and some of the fight fans that fall through. And now that's not possible for another 390 or 292 subscribers. So it is what it is, but I still wanted to not be dissuaded, to not be discouraged in the resolution, which will be televised. Let me get on out of here, man. I'll see if I can sneak me in something for lunch. Oh, later on tonight, I might drop a live stream when I get the this week's podcast together, so I can throw the link out there so people interested can find it. I'm probably gonna have professional fighter, women's boxer, Kaylee Reese on there, getting some thoughts in on Hammer and Shields, as well as also got a nice, deep conversation, a lengthy conversation with the host of the Punch Junkie Morning Show, Junior the Truth, my brethren out of Southwest Ohio. And then I'll get some thoughts in on a couple other things. And and I got some Q&A with both Claressa Shields and Christina Hammer. So I'm gonna put that out there later on tonight, hopefully, and go from there. So have a great weekend, man. Enjoy it all. Peace.